Techies, how are you? Look who I brought with me again today, Oliver. He's a crowd pleaser. Okay, so today's video is about I like you pretty much. Let's see how it goes. And it's basically about soulmates. Like, you guys, is this way too close up in your face? Fuck. Okay. Okay, so I have 3 ways after you have caught your soulmate to keep them. Okay, these are 3 treasure trove tips that are going to help you to keep your soulmate after you have caught them. Okay, number 1, continually work on yourself. Now, if you are the kind of person that, okay, basically, let me go back to the title. Okay, I like you pretty much. Let's see how it goes. And if you guys are avid followers of Abraham Hicks, which which is Esther Hicks, right, is actually Abraham, like being channeled through Esther, if that makes any sense. Okay, so if you guys are familiar with The Secret, I think the lady was named Rhonda. I can't remember what the lady of the author of the book, The Secret, is actually all of the law of attraction, all of the principles of Abraham Hicks' teachings, which is what she did was she used all of the information that she had learned through Abraham Hicks, right? Esther Hicks, and actually took the book and wrote the book herself. And she didn't want to ever keep, like, there's like a secret behind the secret. She actually didn't want people to know where the information came from. It wasn't she thought of this shit on her on her own. It actually came from Abraham Hicks, which Abraham Hicks a lot of times doesn't get the credit for The Secret, that book, and how popular it was. But if you guys ever go back and notice I'm getting to the soulmate thing, but if you guys ever go back and notice that in some of the videos from The Secret, that Abraham Hicks, Esther Hicks, was actually on that video, but she was pulled from that video because they didn't want to give her royalties. They didn't want to give Abraham royalties and all that kind of stuff, and they didn't want to go through lawsuits and all that kind of stuff. So what they did is just decided to, pull themselves from that video. And so then the next video, there's nowhere to be seen Abraham Hicks. But it's actually, the whole point is that is Abraham Hicks' teachings, The Secret. And I always want to go back to that because that is the original content that book is exuding. And this is just a prime example of, I think, someone using, like, resting on the laurels of someone else. I kind of think it was a dick move for that lady to do that when she wouldn't give any kind of information about where all of her stuff came from in The Secret, which was Abraham Hicks. She didn't want to put out any information saying, if people wanted to go further, then they would actually go to Abraham Hicks. But this is what I think she didn't want to do. She wanted to keep all of that fame and, like, all of that, stuff for herself. Like it was her hidden little secret. And it's kind of like a surface thing. If you've ever read the book or anything, it's good shit. Don't get me wrong. But here's the thing is, like, if people wanted to go further, Abraham Hicks wanted it to be like, put, a link in the back of your book, kind of like indexing, in case people wanted to actually learn more than just The Secret from that book, because it sounds like a lot of hoopla of, like, how to get money and all that kind of stuff. And it's good shit. Like, don't get me wrong. I already said that. But I just don't like the tactic that the author did on not wanting to, like, give out all of the information, is what I mean. Is like, I would never do that. That's freaking lowbrow shit. Like, I'm just going to keep it all to myself because I don't think the people are ready to hear it the way that you're giving it out, kind of thing. But if you guys know about Abraham Hicks, you know that that's the secret behind The Secret. Anyway, I don't know where the hell I came off with that one, but maybe I'll just, like, split this video up and just use that for another video of being authentic and not having the scarcity mentality, because I think that's ultimately what this lady was dealing with, is that she wanted the fame for herself and she thought that maybe if she told where the information came from, that people would like not buy her book and not buy her videos and like go to the main source, and then she wouldn't have as much, like wouldn't be on the bestseller, and she wouldn't get all this kind of like accolades from it. So I don't like that kind of skeevy kind of thing that went down with that. But anyway, I will always be very quick to say that I am completely went to the source, and Abraham Hicks is how I teach. So back to my whole thing about having a soulmate. Like once you've gotten your soulmate, there's a couple of things that I've been thinking lately that is essential to do if you plan on keeping your soulmate. Because, you can meet your soulmate, and you can like all this cool stuff can happen, and you can like manifest, certain things, but like you can manifest things and then things go away. So it's actually an indication of something in your vibration that's not kind of working out, if that makes any sense. There's some gaps maybe in it. So that is one of the titles that Abraham Hicks, like in one of her, like in many videos that she talks about, is talking about, I like you pretty much, let's see how it goes. And that means that for number one, once you've gotten your soulmate and once you've manifested your soulmate, the biggest thing that is so essential for you to keep doing is to work continually on yourself. Because just because you have your soulmate does not mean that nothing's going to happen and shit is not going to hit the fan and things in your relationship aren't going to be rocky. Okay? Because like I'll be the first to admit, and I've said this on other videos, especially with Jeffrey and I, is that when you get together with your soulmate, you both are still working through stuff, even though you both believe in the law of attraction and you both believe in that kind of thing. It's not all peaches and cream and hunky-dory bullshit all the time. For the most part, unlike with Jeffrey and I, like we have a great respect for each other, and in the beginning, especially when you're meeting up with your soulmate, like you're going to have some stuff that's going to go down because you're just like coming together, but you're also still finding your way, if that makes any sense. But with a soulmate, you're able to collectively as a couple work through that stuff, because ultimately the true meaning behind your relationship, right? It's like basically it's not just, like Jeffrey and I are twin flames as well, so that adds another dimension to it. You guys, would y'all want me to do a twin flame video just for twin flames? Because I could totally do that too. I don't think I've even done that. I think I've just done soulmate videos. But anyway, so what I mean by that, number one, is that you need to continually work on yourself, because when you come together, even if you come together with your soulmate or twin flame, you are going to have little like moments of friction, because you're trying to work out your own path still, even though you're coming together, because you both are coming together from different spectrums, so to speak. Like, let me give a for instance, okay, so for instance, right, if you meet up, like how I met Jeffrey was because I was finally aligned and one with myself, if that makes any sense. Like, you have to continually work on yourself, and that soulmate, or your twin flame has to continually work on their selves as well, because I didn't want to come into a relationship, because you guys know that I've told you this a million times before, is that in my other past relationships, I always sought out a man to actually rescue me. And so when I didn't want to find that same kind of person, I wanted my soulmate to be already rescued himself, so that I wasn't making up the difference for that, if that makes any sense, because you're a mirror reflection of that person, that twin flame that you are then with. And so if I wouldn't have kept working on myself, I would have once again reached out in the universe, and I would have, by law of attraction, you can't hide law of attraction. It's universal, right? And so I would have found a man that wanted to rescue me. And you don't need that. The thing that you have to work on so much with yourself is your own weakness. So whatever that is, mine was wanting to be rescued because I never had that when I was a young girl, and I was always seeking that out in my partners. And it's a mirror reflection. So you'll always find exactly what you're lacking in that other person. Does that make sense? Like my exes, every one of them, I wanted them to rescue me. Okay. And in turn, they needed to be rescued as well. So you don't understand that that's actually happening because they disguise themselves in different ways, like completely opposite. But it's actually, I did a video on this about the wallflower and the class clown. I'll try to find that and link it. But it's disguising themselves in that particular lacking mode. I hope this is making sense to y'all. I know it's it's really deep stuff. So anyway, but the main point of that is that you have to continually work on yourself. And the reason I say this is because of number 2 is trusting the process. Now, because if you don't do this, have you ever noticed, even with twin flames or soulmates, you can maybe find that person that's like, oh my God, it's the yin to my yang. You know what I mean? But then 3 months down the road, it's the same bullshit that you've been dealing with for the rest of your other relationships, is that you start to recognize things about that person. And if you haven't been working on yourself and healing those gaps and aspects of yourself internally, you're going to every freaking time discover that you have found the person that is you were trying to use to make up the difference for you not doing it yourself. So I had to love myself continually, rescue myself first, so that I didn't need another person, a man, my twin flame, to rescue me, because that would have been some negative crap and it would have ended the same exact way. Now, when I say that, about number 2 is trusting the process, and it's also trusting in yourself, okay? Because what happens is, oh, Oliver's so cute. Because so what happens is, okay, I'm going to give you an example. This is what's going to happen if you haven't worked on yourself and you completely go back on how you were in other relationships, okay? So you will ultimately fall back into those same patterns if you do not heal yourself in those areas where you've needed to fill the gap. Is that if, this is a if scenario, if I would have not rescued myself, it would have turned out like my other relationships, okay? So everything's bliss and wonderful, right? But just as soon as that 3 month, I call it the honeymoon phase, 3 to 6 months there, you sit there and start looking at this other person and you're like, now this is an example of like what would have happened if I hadn't worked on myself. I would have come up with those same insecurities, right, that I had in other relationships, which were major distrust in that person because I didn't trust myself, right? And then what happens is you're like, you go back and you fall into the same trap of like, why are you, oh my God, I saw you on Instagram. I saw you like her page. I saw you like her picture and she was in her bikini. Why are you liking? Why are you following all those girls? Like, this is what I used to do in my other relationship, right? I totally didn't trust. Now, I had good reason not to trust because he was an adulterer, like cheated on me all the time. Okay. And so I'll get to that number 3 in a minute. But what happens is you start to fall back on those insecurities if you're not trusting the process, which means I like you pretty much, Jeffrey. Let's see how it goes. I'm not going to sit there and worry about my husband and wonder what he's doing, or if he didn't come home on time, where was he, and then drill them to death, and then wonder why this is happening, and getting jealous of this bullshit, and getting jealous of this person or whatever. Now, I'm not going to say I never get jealous, because I'm freaking human, okay? But for the most part, I try to collectively get myself back in alignment and say, you know what? I like you pretty much, dude. Let's see how this goes. I'm not going to be hung up on some person. I don't need someone else to rescue me. I don't need someone else to be there for me, because I'm there for me, if that makes any sense. You've got to be completely non-codependent of your soulmate twin flame, because I can guarantee you, if you do not, if you don't take care of your baggage and your own shit that you've got going and fill those gaps within yourself and trust yourself in the process, you are going to cause your twin flame or soulmate to walk right out of your life. Like, they are going to fall out of that net that you've caught them in, because for the long end of the game, people don't want to fucking be controlled. I can tell you right now, a surefire way to get somebody to totally not be into you is to start hounding them, start not trusting them, start gauging everything, watching everything they do, trying to be obsessed with them, like, because you're totally fucking insecure in yourself. And that's why you have to, like, put that onto your partner, because then you don't trust them. And guess what? The exact thing, it's law of attraction, the exact thing that you don't want to happen, which is for them to cheat on you, to find someone else, to discover someone else, to basically swim as fast as they fucking can away from you, then you have to trust yourself. Because as soon as you start doing that bullshit, they are going to run faster than you even know what hit you. And I promise you, it's law of attraction. Try it. You will recognize, if you haven't already in your life, if that's ever happened to you, start being insecure. That's the surefire way for you to lose your twin flame or your soulmate. Be insecure. I'm telling you, especially you women, I mean, and men too, but women, you've got to own your shit. Be secure in yourself. Because if you start relying on someone else in a relationship to make up the difference for, well, I need him to, you like how I get all southern on you? But, well, I need him to not flirt with them girls, and I need him to not be friends with that girl on Facebook, because I just don't trust that he ain't gonna. It's not him, it's her. I'm worried about the whip. No, it isn't. That's bullshit too. It's like as soon as you start making excuses for your partner, you're in deep shit. You're in deep water if you start making excuses for the fact that maybe he's just an asshole and you need to let him go. Maybe he is a philandering fool and you don't need him in your life. And there's a reason that you attracted him, and now there's a reason you need to fucking let him go. How about that? Because if there's another thing that I've learned, you guys, is that you can't make someone stay with you, and you also cannot make up the difference in the long end of the game, okay, in a relationship, if you are insecure. And I only know this because I was completely insecure as a girl when I first met my husband, right? I was 14 years old. So I already came from a very insecure family, like the dynamic of my dad and me feeling like I never was rescued then. So it stemmed from those deep internal, like, daddy issues, so to speak. And I went from law of attraction to attracting the same type of man in my life as my boyfriend, which was my ex. And instead of running for the fucking hills, when I first started recognizing, like, this doesn't feel good. Like, I don't like that he's showing extra attention to this girl that he loved since he was a little boy and wanted to be with her and stuff. Why didn't I just cut him loose and say, dude, go on, dude. I'm not gonna sit there. Okay, fine. You want that girl that was your childhood sweetheart? Okay, you go get her then. Instead of, I tried to train him to like me, to want to be there, like, okay, I'll just do anything that's necessary to keep this person. And how many times do we as women, when we grow up and become women, we still fucking have those issues that we never took care of when we were girls? Is that you're trying to fulfill yourself through a man. And it never freaking works. I'm telling you, you might be with your love of your life. You might be with, oh, he's everything and then some. Okay, that's great and wonderful. But guess what? I guess there are times that people can have that or whatever. But it's been very, very, very rare that I've ever seen a super healthy relationship when one person in the relationship is more subjective to the other and it being such a beautiful, blissful communion between two people. I don't think I've fucking ever seen it. And so I think for me that finding Jeffrey was because, and I manifested him because I had been working on myself for years. Even when I was in my marriage before, I had already disconnected from my husband 8 years prior to that. 9 years prior to that, by just following and just living in the motions, if that makes any sense. Have you guys ever done that? Like women, have you ever lived in the, you often shut down, but you're just like going through the motions is what I mean. You're going through the motions of being in a relationship, but like maybe your husband, he goes on trips all the time and you guys really don't spend a lot of time together unless you're going out to eat and it's for show. And like I see so many relationships like that. And it's like, that's not to me a healthy relationship. Like one has an addiction to, going to strip clubs with his guy friend or whatever. Like that to me is not a soulmate twin flame union. Like it's not. It's like these women disguise themselves and put off how they really feel and their emotions, you guys, so often to hide how you really feel, because maybe you're afraid to get out on your own. Maybe you're afraid to leave the marriage. Maybe you're afraid to be dependent on yourself, And so if there's one thing that I totally know by experience is that if you go out and try to find someone else, that's why people have marriage after marriage after marriage, because when you're taking the same luggage and bullshit from one relationship to the next, you think, oh no, this is totally different. It's not totally different. You're going to soon realize that if you're 3 to 6 months into the marriage and it's like, God, there's the same type of bullshit happening in this relationship and he's my soulmate twin flame that happened in my 20-year marriage. Like, okay, there's an issue there, girls. Okay, so you have to get your shit straight. So that means, first of all, you have to continually work on yourself, completely build yourself up. Expect nothing else from anyone else. Like, don't expect some man to come in and rescue you and take care of you and fulfill all your emotional needs. That is not his fucking job. That's not Jeffrey's job to fucking make me better. I've got to do that on my own. So when you start relying on another person to fulfill needs for you, there's trouble brewing. Let me just tell you. Second of all, you need to trust the process. I like you pretty much, Jeffrey, but if something happens and the world misaligns or something goes down, right? Nobody can be promised what's going to happen in the future. And that's not me going, oh, she's totally disattached. She's totally disattached from anything or whatever. Like, oh, she's got walls up and she's not letting. No, it's actually a very secure, healthy place to be in a relationship when I don't give a rat's ass what my husband's doing. I trust him because I trust me. And if something goes awry, well then, so fucking be it. Like, I'm still gonna be cool as shit on my own. Like, I don't need a man to make me feel better. And you have to get to that point to where you don't need a man. Like, do I want Jeffrey in my life? Do I love having Jeffrey in my life? Abso-fucking-lutely. I adore the ground the man walks on, but I don't need him to make me the person that I am. Does that make sense? Like, I hope this is making sense. Like, are my eyebrows look like I look like a witch or something? Is it the lighting or what? I don't know. Anyway, so those are the main two things. If I can share anything with you on this video, it's those two things. And I hope that you I hope that you, so those are the two things, and I hope that served you. I hope that it helped you a little bit. I hope that you gained something from it, and I want you to know how much I love you. Thank you so much for following my channel. Thank you so much for my new subscribers. I really appreciate it. And if you want to continue to get inspiration, law of attraction, spirituality, creativity, love and joy and rabbits, I want you to subscribe to my channel below and follow me on my social media if you want to. You don't have to. Sometimes I'm not putting it in the link description below because I don't want to take you away from my channel, because I'd rather you watch more videos than, like, if you know what I'm saying, like if you want to follow me on Instagram or whatever, you'll fucking find me, right? But my handle name is Raquel Margaret Carter. And then, so that's on like all of my social media outlets. And if you want to subscribe to my channel, that would be great. And if you like anything that I said, or you think that it might serve someone else that you're thinking of, or that you know, like you have a cute girlfriend, or, you know, somebody that's looking for love and other. Okay. If you know of my video being able to serve someone else, I would appreciate it if you would share it. All you have to do is tap the thing that says share. It will clip and copy and paste the link to your phone, and then you just go on the social media or Twitter or wherever. You go on the social media outlet and you just paste it, and then my video is out there to help serve other people, especially law of attraction people, because you know I totally dig you people. You're my people. Okay, as always, I'm yours until my next swim. Ciao, bye.